Hello everyone and welcome to Math 2413 for Summer 1 at MCC. My name's Terry Barnes and I'll be helping you on this fairly quick journey. This orientation video is to let you know how I have the course set up, what the expectations are, and just generally to help you get started. So let's go through all the different pieces and hopefully you'll be really prepared to get started. So the first thing I would say is that if you're watching this, you've already gotten in and you've seen the announcement and you've started the video. This is where all the announcements will be. Your content is over here and this is what we're going to kind of go through. So let's look here at the instructor plan. I am not going to go through all of it, but I do want to show you a few things. So required text and materials, because you got this as inclusive access, you don't have to purchase the book. The electronic course information is included in your tuition. So you can have access to the book and you have access to all of my stuff. You do need a graphing calculator. I suggest the TI-83 or 84. If you use something else and you're proficient with it, that's fine. You use that. Let's see. Course attendance. In this course, it's going to be about participation. So you need to participate in the course every week. And on Sundays, I will send out an email to anyone that did not participate the week before, and that would have given you an absence. So keep that in mind. We start June 2nd. We end July 9th. Let's talk about the grading. So there's a homework assignment for each section, and homework, everything in this course is due at the end. So you can keep working on homework as long as you want and as many times as you want before the due date. And we'll talk about that a little bit more when we go look at the homework. But homework average counts 30%. Tests, there are 5 tests plus a comprehensive final, and the tests count 50% of the final average. This in red is really important. Before each test is available, all homework assignments must be completed with at least a 70. So every homework that you do, if you don't have a 70 on one of them, the test will not open for you. So bottom line, you've got to pass your homework to be able to take the test. Final exam is cumulative and it will count 20% of your average. All right, and down here, another thing about attendance, and it says in this online course, attendance is based on participation. You have to work each week either on a homework or a test. If you do not complete any work in a week, that counts as an absence. You're allowed 2 such weeks, but if you receive a 3rd absence, you could be dropped for attendance. So keep that in mind. It's easy to make it through that policy. Just work on something every week, which you need to be doing anyway. All right, let's go back. All right, so you can look through these important student resources on your own. Let's look at handouts. So if you need any calculator help, that's there. If you use a TI Inspire, that is some help there. This is to help you with algebra. It's a formula packet for algebra. Here's a handout for trig. So both of those could be really helpful. Here's a list of common derivatives, derivatives and integrals, derivatives of trig functions. Now this form right here, the curve sketching form, you will need that in chapter 4, and you'll have to go here and print it, and you'll upload it to the test. You'll fill it out. But when we get closer to that, we'll talk more about that. But that's where that is, the curve sketching form. So there's lots of things in here that could be helpful, and anything you want to use, print it and save it and use it when you're working. All right, let's go back. All right, the calendar is pretty easy because in my calendar, everything is open day 1. And it is due the last day. So this is just a suggestion of how you might break up the weeks. Chapter 2 in week 1 and take the exam. Week 2, half of Chapter 3, because I broke the test into 2 tests, so you could take that first half of exam 3. Week 3, do the rest of Chapter 3 and take that one. Week 4, week 5. And so if you want to do it that way, that's great. If you want to work faster than that and finish quicker, that's fine. This is a suggested calendar. All right, back here, right below calendar, we have problem sets, lecture notes, and lecture video. This is the meat of the course. So let's look at problem sets. If we go here to Chapter 2, go to Section 2.1, and a PDF will come up with some questions. And you'll note there's 6, 7, 8, 9, I don't know how many, 9 questions in this one. Sometimes the homework matches that exactly, sometimes it's off a little bit, but these are some questions that I go over in the lecture notes and the lecture video that would prepare you for the homework. So let's go look at the lecture notes for this. All right, here are the lecture notes. Let's go here. We'll go to Chapter 2, 2.1. And if you were in class, this is what we would be going over, what I would be writing on the screen, except everything is filled in. And there's some examples there. Then we get down to the problem. So this is the first problem from the problem set. It is worked out. You're finding the average rate of change of a function, which is like slope. And then we go on to other ones. And we write on this one, we have to find the equation for a tangent line, and this is a whole new thing. But you will get this when we go through the video. But everything is worked out. That's in the lecture notes. Let's go back and see about the videos. All right, so video lecture playlist. All of my videos are in a YouTube channel. I have one for every course. So let's go here. Here is the Chapter 2 playlist. It takes you to YouTube and where those videos live. And you can see some 18 minutes, 20 minutes, and then some of these are shorter. But when you go to watch that video, it will be me talking and going through the problems. So let's think about what we've got so far. Okay, so for every chapter, you have a set of problems, a set of lecture notes, and a video for every section. And once you go through those, and I would do it in that order, I would look at my problem set, look at the lecture notes, watch the video. Then if you go up here to homework and tests, if we click that, you will see a blue link for 2.1, and over here are the due dates. And as I said, everything is due at noon on July 8th. Noon on July 8th. That's really not negotiable because I have to turn in grades at the registrar's office. So that's what you're shooting for. Let's look at the homework for 2.1. All right, now this one is down to 5 questions. And so your lecture notes, your homework, your problem sets would prepare you for a little more than this. But go into question 1. It does, I think this one does look like what we saw in the problem set. It says find the average rate over the given interval. So it's a 2-part thing, and you would do the work, and here's where you put your answer. Now, until you click in this box, nothing shows up down here. But if you click here, like you're ready to put your answer, anything that you might need, if you need a fraction, exponent, absolute value, square root, you see all those. And if you hit more, you get all of these. We have a lot of the Greek letters. We have matrices, if you needed that, an ordered pair. So there's lots of things there that just doesn't show up until you're in here. So I want to show you one thing. I'm just going to put some gibberish here, and we're going to say check the answer. And it just is going to say that's incorrect and remind you of the formula that you should be using. So we'll try some other gibberish, and we'll check it again. we get the same thing. And now you'll note this says final check. So if I don't change anything and I hit final check, it says my correct answer was 380, and that's what I answered. So you say okay, and at that point, you go on to part B, and I'm going to do the same thing just to get through this. We'll hit okay, we'll go check it again, okay, and final check. All right, now at this point, you can just redo the whole question, or you could skip it, go to the next one, take what you got as wrong, and go back to it later. But if we hit similar question, it's just going to regenerate this question with different numbers. So you can always go back after 3 tries and work on it again. And it'll always let you have those options. If you stop working on it for the day, you can come back to it later in the day and get that done. So no worries there. All right, so that's where you'll do your homework. You will also do your tests there. Let me go back and show you that. So if we come down, this is showing homework only. You can have a pull down and you can say all assignments. So you see that the Chapter 2 online is right after your last section 2.6 in that. There's a flag here to remind you, you have to have a 70 on all of these. It tells you here that you have 2 hours and you have 2 tries. So with every test except the final, you can take it twice. If you're happy with your first try, don't take it a second one. If you're not happy, then you go to the grade book and you pull it up and you hit review, and you can see which ones you missed and what the answer should have been. And then you can study those again, those kinds of questions, and take the test again. So you have 2 shots on those, and note that some of these, which are longer and harder, you have 150 minutes and you still have 2 tries, and you have 2 tries on you have 2 tries on all those. You have 150 minutes on the final, but you only have 1 time. So you want to really study for that one. So that is about our tests and our homework. Let's go back to the screen. Okay, so you do have an e-text here. That would give you the actual textbook if you want it. I have pretty much put out what lecture notes I think you need to have to do well for me. And here is a final exam review. And in that review, it says, it looks like this. It has the section that the question comes from, and it goes through here, and you can, and then the answers, not the work, but the answers are here so that you can practice and see if you can get the correct answers. So that is a review for the test. So I think that is it. Your grade book is here. It will always be up to date, so you don't have to ask me, what do I have? If you just click your grade book, it will have your overall average. It always updates. So I think that will get you started. If you need help on a homework question, be sure, and I need to go back and show you that. I did not show you that. Let me go here. Say we're in here and you were struggling with this first question. Down here at the bottom, it says get more help. So if you click that and hit ask my instructor, it'll go directly to me, that particular question, so I'll know which numbers you're using. And you can type in here what you're doing, what you're trying, what you don't understand about it, that sort of thing. Send it to me, and then I know exactly what you're working on and what you need help on, and then I can get back with you. So that's the best way to get help on questions. If you've tried everything, you've looked at the lecture notes, you've looked at the video, and you're still stuck, then do that, get more help, and I will be glad to get back with you. So I think that's it. I wish you luck, and we'll be together for the next few weeks.